Coach, what are you learning about your team as had to play a little bit here without a leading scorer and a leader like Casey there?
Well, I think with or without Casey, we're still learning a lot about this team. We just have a lot of new pieces and a lot of young pieces. So even though, only, it sounds crazy, but only 7 players are new, we still have 11 players that are freshmen and sophomores. And not all those now sophomores got a ton of minutes last year. Some did, but I think we're looking for everybody to kind of fulfill different roles this year. And now with Casey out of the lineup for, I'm not entirely positive what length of time, it definitely says, the one piece that we probably had that did have a ton of consistent minutes last year is gone. We need everybody else to step up. And we're trying to decide, who's going to fill those roles. It doesn't necessarily mean anyone needs to be Casey. We're not asking anybody to take the volume of shots or, facilitate the offense or do those things. But we need every player to step up their game a little bit more.
And who has the biggest adjustment on this thing? I mean, is it people taking on more of a scoring load, ball handling load, defensively, leadership? What's kind of your biggest ask there? Yeah,
I think a little bit of combination of both the ball handling piece, the facilitating piece, and the scoring piece, of course. I don't think we lose the leadership piece. I think we have some players that have stepped up and vocally taken a role on the court, but I also think Casey's taking that same role just from a different seat right now. So that piece, I don't think that there's been any change. But I do think, scoring, yes, obviously we rely pretty heavily on Casey. And, I think we saw last night Kaya's definitely capable of doing that. We saw a little streak where Beal had a good little run and getting some shots up. But truthfully, it's going to need to come from, a wide array of players. It's not going to be, hey, we just lost Casey's 20 points a game. Kaya, I need you to score 20 more points a game. I think it's, hey, Kaya, we probably need you to step up a little bit more, but at the same, regard, hey, need, 4 more out of you, 4 more out of you, whatever that might be.
Do you learn anything new about some new pieces of your squad here in these last couple games? You're seeing a few new faces get into the box score here.
Yeah, I mean, we're throwing a lot of things at the wall right now, and we're just trying to see kind of what sticks. Both from a defensive perspective and an offensive perspective. I think offensively, we're still just searching for the chemistry that's required and just the ball movement and finding those easy shots and not being a team that, stops, stares, and watches one player go. We want to have a lot of continuity and be playing together, and so we're still kind of searching for what that means. And, sometimes that means players have to be more of a passer, more of a screener, more of a cutter, and do some of those not so glorified things. And so trying to find players that can own a little bit of that role. But I think we saw a little bit in specifically more that North Texas game when we revved up the defensive intensity, it got our offense going. And so, we're going to rely a little bit more on defensive intensity, and that means, players that are going to bring it on that end of the floor are probably going to get a little bit bigger role.
You were saying you don't know necessarily how long Casey could be out for. Could you elaborate just on her injury a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, she landed on someone's foot and then just took a hard step, and it's an ankle injury, but we're not positive exactly how long it'll be. And knowing Casey, she's too stubborn to be out for too long, and so we'll hope we'll have her back quickly, but honestly, we're not sure.
How are her spirits as far as watching from the sidelines, taking a step back? How are her spirits?
I mean, good. We gave her a little bit of a role last night. We had her calling in all baseline out of bounds plays, and so we could have her in a little bit more of a active participating role because she is a really high IQ player for us. And so to have her, having a little bit of that vision still or seeing things the way she typically sees the game, but also it's a great opportunity for her to sit there and say, okay, Jayla, we want you to inbound the ball. Casey graduates in a year. We're going to have somebody else that inbounds the ball on baselines. And so Casey can start talking to those players and giving them the player's perspective, the player's view. And, of course, as coaches, we're trying to teach it, but she sees things at such a high level, it's good for her to kind of share that knowledge as well.